Welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host. I am Shane McLain, and this is the wonderful Gwen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am too blessed to be stressed, and plus can't complain. My wife's here. You
Yeah.
know, can't do any of that. I'm really excited about this guest that we have tonight. It's very intriguing having somebody like this on because like her videos are very mystifying and I'm not even gonna say so let's just bring the queen of darkness herself on, Shannon Michele Collins.
I
Hello.
can't hear
Hey.
you.
Good.
I can't hear. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
I can't
us?
hear you.
You can't?
I'll be right back. Is that
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right.
We always have a little gremlins, guys.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the way
yeah.
it is.
You guys, please deal with it. You know, it happens to at least one of us. It's
Yeah.
usually me. So it's
It's
usually
usually
me.
me. Yeah, it happens because I'm here, but I'm sorry, Shane. But
It
hey,
does.
what's up with, you got anything good going on till Shannon can
Well,
get back?
My wife, starting this Saturday, her job closes down for a whole week.
Oh.
They do restorations and stuff like that. So she's got 10 full days off. So,
Oh, my
you know,
goodness.
we plan on doing some things together then. Um, we'd really like to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Go see my mom. I mean, there's so many things, so many options that we want to do.
Can you hear us now?
I can.
Good.
Good,
I'm
good,
sorry
good.
about that.
Hey, we have gremlins on every show. I believe I told you this last time, but I was looking forward to you when he told me you were coming. I was like, "Yay!"
Yeah.
I'm really
And
excited.
I'm gonna tell you something. Like I've had guests that have been like pretty super responsive, but literally I messaged her.
Mm-hmm.
I messaged her, and within 10 minutes, she was messaging back. I mean, she's super responsive, and I really appreciate that. And but it's so good having you on. We always start the show out by, why don't you tell everybody? I mean, everybody already knows who you are, but just tell everybody who you are and a little bit about yourself.
So I am known as the Queen of Darkness, a dream within a scream. My name is Shannon Michele Collins, and I am a horror hostess for PARAFLIXX Paranormal Plus. I'm also a paranormal investigator, automatic writer, poet, actress, model, and weirdo. Yeah.
Model and weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's amazing. That's amazing. When you say like like automatic writer and things like that, like I've heard different terms for that. Now some people do drawings, and some people, like, what does that entail with you, automatic writing?
So I can do it your typical paper and pen. Sometimes it'll draw whatever. I try I hello. I don't always look at what I'm writing.
Mhm.
Sometimes I do with my eyes closed. I'm channeling, so I'm not necessarily there anyway. It depends on however I'm comfortable in the moment. Sometimes it's just like I call it automatic writing. But because if I had a paper and pen, I would be writing it out, but it kind of comes through that way. And so, like, if I don't have paper and pen near, I'll kind of just like type it out on my phone or something in the notes. And that's like, I'm not channeling as deep, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely,
All right.
absolutely. I've seen others do it with drawings. Like they've sat around and, you know, as someone was explaining something, they were drawing something that resembled something that is around that person, and it was spot on.
Yeah.
And I just think it's very interesting that people can do that.
Yeah. I didn't really realize it was what I was doing initially, like growing up and stuff like that. But I joined a team when I was much younger, and I learned a lot through them about different things, and I realized that's what it was.
Mm.
Yeah,
So how long have you been in the paranormal?
about 14 years.
14 years. Wow.
Yes, yes. I was with
Did
one
you
team.
have your first experience? What happened with your first experience that you ever had?
The first experience that I remember having, I was probably around 7 years old, and we had just moved into our new house, and I remember my great uncle had passed away, and I was sleeping, and I was having a nightmare about him being
Mm,
on my swing set out back, and his laugh was very distinctive in the dream. Um, and it sounded like the old Batman, like from way back when with Michael Keaton
mm,
and
mm,
Jack
mm, mm,
Nicholson.
mm, mhm.
That laugh, yeah. So when he hits the pavement, that laugh, that repetitive laugh, and for whatever reason that like really freaked me out. So I remember waking up. I remember the time. It was like 4:30 something in the morning, and I look out my bedroom door, and there is a silhouette of a man who I actually thought it was my grandfather, who was still alive. So it was weird for him to be in my house at that time. But I saw it come into my room. I hit the blanket over my head, and it felt like forever. Take the blanket down, standing in the hallway, kind of like waves goodbye and leaves. And that was like really scary for me. I remember asking my mom why was grandpa over our house in the morning, and she was like, "What the heck are you talking about?" And I guess they just kind of chalked it up to me imagining it. So from there, it was like different things, but that's the earliest one that most clear one that I remember. I don't know why, it just like that one really stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so that
That's
was
it.
my
That's
first.
I had mine when I was 10. And I am in ministry. I started this podcast to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy. I am clergy that works inside the paranormal field.
Okay.
But I had my first paranormal experience when I was 10 years old. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, I know what I saw. I was standing in a mirror. My grandfather had passed away, and I was standing in a mirror that he made. He made this mirror, and I was adjusting my tie, and I looked up in the mirror, and he was standing behind me.
Mm,
And that's when I was 10 years old, and no one could tell me different. And one thing that I've noticed is that when I started getting more and more into church and things of that nature, that people said that if you have paranormal experiences, or you have something like that, then you have demonic activity. So I'm trying to break that monotony, because let's face it, not all hauntings are demonic. And I work a lot of residential cases, and maybe 1% out of the cases that I work are anywhere close to demonic.
hmm
And I wish churches would stop doing that. And I wish they would open up, because there are people that deal with supernatural things in around their house. And if they can't come into the church and tell people without having people believe that they are demonically oppressed, or have a diabolical demon inside of their house, then they'll never be able to open up to anyone.
that's true. That's true.
and I just refuse to allow that to happen. Um, I want to bridge the gap. I want to have as many people on here that are different. I want to hear your story. I want to hear what you're about. I want you to know that I believe in you. I believe in who you are, what you're doing. There will never be any kind of judgment any of my way. Um, and I definitely do not believe that all hauntings are demonic. And but speaking of that, um, how did you get involved in PARAFLIXX?
I messaged Natalie and I told
Natalie, she's so good, dude.
I love Natalie. I told her that she needed a horror hostess for her, but for her streaming network, and that I thought it should be me, because I believed in her vision of what she was trying to do. I believed in, aw, I love that. I believed in her vision of what she was trying to do, her and Patty, and and you see it, it's growing every day. Really proud of her. So I'm just trying to do I want to apologize. I don't know if you could hear my dog barking and
I
crying up
cannot.
there.
Oh
Okay.
no, you're
All right, thank
good.
goodness, because I think he's
We all have
crying.
animals. It's okay.
Okay, I feel so bad that he's crying right now. So I really wanted to help promote her vision and what she was doing, and try and promote the people that were a part of the network itself. And it's been a little bit of a rough year for me, so I wasn't able to do for her as much as I was hoping to do, and for everybody else as much as I was hoping to do. But where I was able to promote it as much as I could, I tried to. So, because I still love her, and she's very patient with me. So
That's
communication
amazing.
is important. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I also have a paranormal team called Outer Realms Paranormal.
Mhm.
And please, if you guys have anything that you want to promote, you, Natalie, every time, I know some people from PARAFLIXX, I always try to share. They've always been good with me about sharing my podcast
Mhm.
and things of that nature. They're just really, really good people. And but please, if you guys have anything that you would like to share, please go to Outer Realms, and that's what that page is used for. Is for networking purposes. And I would love more than anything if you were to get on and just share with us everything that you have on, and with this network too.
Yeah.
No,
We
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 should,
would
we
we would
already
love to
share it.
promote you.
I love that. I appreciate that, and it goes both ways. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And for you
So
guys that don't know what PARAFLIXX is, look it up if you've heard of it. Sometimes they have like a code or something so you can get a
I
discount.
actually have a code.
Yay!
I
Well,
can
tell
you
them
do.
put it up? Can you
It's
can you put it up?
if you message me in the private chat on here. I don't know if you can even see it, or if you can message it, I'll figure out a way to put it on there.
That's
uh
awesome.
I'll try. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
I
want to
can make
mess
a banner.
anything up.
Do you know what it
My thing.
is?
I'm gonna message you a messenger. Is that okay?
That's fine.
That's awesome. That's
It's an
I'll make a
easy
awesome.
banner.
code, but I'll message it to you.
Okay.
Shannon, I'd like to try to get Natalie on as a guest too. I know she's a pretty busy one, but I would definitely love to have her on as a guest.
It would be a great show for you if you did. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I will
yeah.
let her know for sure.
That's amazing.
If that's
That's
okay.
amazing.
It's
Yeah, I try to have a variety, of guests, and I love people that are in the paranormal field because everybody has a story. Everybody's got things different in their lives. Now,
mhm.
when you found out that you're sensitive, right?
Mhm.
How old were you? when you found out that you had those abilities?
Um,
Pretty young.
probably went with that experience, like I said, because it just
Okay.
continued.
All right.
But I was there was a period of time where I kind of just tried to turn it off because I was being told that it was my imagination, it was this, it was that, and then it
Mhm.
came back with a vengeance. I feel like it like slammed me in the face around maybe 18, 17, 18. It started to come back more. And then around 20 something, I joined the paranormal group because I had a crazy experience that I couldn't explain. And when I tried to look up different places, the place where I had the crazy experience came up on that paranormal group's website. And it was the exact thing that I picked up on. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? I was pretty naive about all of that stuff. So they taught me a lot at the
Mm,
time. So I
that's
reached out to
amazing.
them. Yeah.
Can you read, can you understand, like, if I gave you like a situation, or if I gave you something about me, not just telling me something about myself, but I do have a question, and I've asked people this before because I have no idea where I got this from. I get premonitions and visions.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
I've gotten them my entire life. They started getting a lot more intense after my grandmother passed away, but they're never good.
Mm-hmm.
When I get a premonition and vision, it's usually a warning towards someone. And it's happened to my wife. It's happened several times with my wife. One of the main times that I had is I was in the car with my mother, and we were at a stoplight in the left hand lane. And I was fascinated for some reason about the light. And then my ears started ringing.
Mm.
And then I blanked out or whatever. And I saw this horrific scene in front of me. And it was only a few seconds. Well, when I came back out, uh, I was in such like just confusion, and I told my mom, I said, "Mom, I said, when this light changes, whatever you do, do not go. Stay right here. Do not go." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And there was a car that was right next to me. It had a mother, her kid, stuff like that. And I remember the kid that was in the car turned and was waving at me like this. And I was trying to, say, no, 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 don't do that. The light changed and they started to go. And when they did, a six-wheeler truck made a left right there, ran that red light, and T-boned that car, up against a telephone pole and killed every single person there. That would have been my mother and I.
Mm-hmm.
How, what do you call that?
Uh, what do you like a premonition? What
Like,
is
I get premonitions and visions, and a lot of people say, like, that's psychic or sensitive, or something like
okay.
that. I don't even know what you call it.
I guess that would be. See, for me, I feel like a psychic is just like a broad term for like so many subsets of different variations, and not every single person is the same exact way when it comes to, so like all mediums are not the same exact way. They're not all cookie cutter. So it's hard for me to say exactly what you are. I don't want to put you in a box. I think that you're a very special human being who has a really cool ability to have these premonitions where, yeah, they might be horrible to see, but if you can help somebody in a situation where it's like, you know what, don't, maybe that's because you are doing the work that you're doing. Maybe that's some divine intervention in some way, and you're open to that realm.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Almost prophetic, almost.
Exa- you know? So I don't want to put you in a box and say, okay, well, you're some sort of psychic, whatever. I really am not like a huge fan of that term when you're talking about like a person. I feel like it's a good term when you're talking about when you're trying to explain it to someone, like in a situation, a psychic impression or whatever, you know what I mean? But when it comes to a person, I think that's a tough thing to put people in a box, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
In my opinion, most people that are sensitive in that way are sensitive in multiple different ways and different avenues, and so it's kind of hard to put them in a box, you know?
Well, you do you think that I would ever be able to control it or maybe stop it at any point?
I believe that meditation is a very strong tool for just being able to control your own human emotions. And then once you get through that and being able to work it and working that into your spiritual connection, it's you wind up on a whole nother level of awareness and consciousness. And so I do believe that if with practice, because it's like a muscle, you would be able to tune it higher or tune it off. That's I do believe that.
That's
And
that's, that's
and
interesting.
willingly. So like if you're turning it off, I think some people get afraid of, which I used to be afraid of tuning it off that you're not going to get it back or something.
Mm,
Like it's in you, it's going to come back. You know what I'm saying? But you're the one that's in control of that. So, but it does take time, it does take practice, and you have to see like what does work for you. What, and maybe it's not your typical meditation, maybe it's hiking, maybe it's, you know, some sort of different way that you can connect with spirit within yourself and connecting in and allowing and asking them to work with you and how you want to control it.
hmm, that's interesting. Like even if you don't know when they come,
Mhm.
so that applies for that too. They just
Yeah,
come out of the blue.
yeah, I would still do the meditations all the time
Oh,
just
okay,
so that
okay.
you know so that you're building that up and then you know you can open up more to be able to maybe focus in and see, can I connect to this place, can I go past it, can I figure out when exactly is this premonition going to happen. Ooh, sounds like you know, for the most part, because you were able to stop your vehicle in the moment you knew that was the moment. So that's the hard thing sometimes with people that have had premonitions is they're having this vision, but they don't know exactly when it might take place, you know? So I think that's also pretty interesting. Like, so I already feel like you are strongly connected. Maybe it only comes through when it's meant to come through.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely try to figure out a way that works for you as far as meditation.
Hmm.
Find some time every day to do, even if it's 5 minutes, to do some sort of connecting with yourself in that way. And I think that you might be able to either open up more and sit with it and see what you see, or tone it down.
So when you say meditation and things like that, we pray a lot, as
Hmm.
far as being in ministry. Um, is that along the same thing that you're referring to with meditation?
Not necessarily. Um, Meditation is a lot of times like breath work and connecting, like shutting down all the senses, clearing your mind and connecting with yourself. Um, so, but with that said, anything technically can be turned into a meditation if it's pleasing to your soul in that way.
Mm.
So if praying for you is pleasing to your soul in that way, then absolutely it's a form of meditation. Just try not to allow any other distractions in so that that's your only focal point at the time. And focus on, again, your breath work so that you could center yourself, your mind, your body, your core. And you'll have a really cool experience, I'm sure.
That's awesome. Thank you for that's very enlightening. Because I've looked years, for a solid answer. And I really haven't been able to get a solid answer because, even in the Bible, Jesus says that a prophet is never wanted in his own hometown.
Hmm.
And so I feel like whenever I get those, they're bringing a message for someone, but it's never good. So if I don't tell the person that I'm doing it, my anxiety hits a peak that I almost have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah. We have a
Right.
question. Christy
No, I see
um
it.
is asking. Yeah, she can
No,
see it good.
that is something completely different. So shadow work is like when you're doing that kind of sense. That's going deep, deep within yourself to look at within yourself at the things that you might have not been such a great person with, and then working through those things and seeing where that comes from and trying to work past that, appreciating where that comes from and moving forward from.
Can you explain your definition of shadow work to me, please? I mean, I'd like to hear what you say about it because I've heard what other people say about it, but I feel like a lot of times it's their own personal belief on what they believe it is.
That's, I think that goes for everything, for the
Okay.
most part. But yeah, for shadow work, it's, you know, you're working within yourself through those dark moments, those dark times. Maybe things that have happened to you that were not so great. Maybe things that you have done that were not so great. Going all the way back, you know,
Mm,
and trying to release those things, forgive yourself, move past those things, and see where that came from. Is that coming from past things? Is that, you know, when you want to cut those cords and move forward from it, but you want to learn from it, you want to accept those things about yourself because that is a part of what made you who you are, but you don't necessarily want to be those things, you know what I mean? So that's about accepting. But real shadow work is looking at it, working through it, and it's a very emotional process. You know, it takes a lot to work through all of those things. It's not just like bad things that you have done. It's just all the things, you know what I mean, that are shadow, you know? So the hidden things, the secrets and all that stuff. You got to work through all of that stuff. And then once you can come through that stuff, you can appreciate where you've come from. I have a hard time when people are all about the light and all about the light, but they've never walked through the shadow. How are you appreciating the light when you've never been in the shadow? You've not
right.
appreciated the darkness, then you can't appreciate the light. It's a yin and a yang. Grounding is more on the term. Yeah, meditating can be used as a grounding tool for sure.
Mm.
For sure.
Shannon, I've heard a lot of people say it, but that's probably one of the best definitions or explanations for shadow work that I've heard.
Well,
Because
thank you.
and I appreciate you sharing that. Because you know I grew up with a lot of trauma. I grew up with things in, and the most comfortable person that I've ever had in my life was my grandmother. Um, like I told you, I didn't start getting these premonitions and visions so heavy until after my grandmother passed away. So I reached out to some family, and my grandmother used to have similar,
Hmm.
like she would know things. She would know things before like like especially when it has to do with me, when I was growing up and things like that. Whenever I get in trouble when I was a kid, the first thing that would happen is, my dad would be like, you're going to call your grandmother, because she knows that would affect me more than any other thing. I never wanted to disappoint my grandmother,
Hmm.
but when I would call, she would already know that
Right.
something wasn't right. So, um, I think I think it is a much needed. I just don't think that something like what I do and what I deal with, like, I don't think people really want that. no one wants to hear that something bad's going to happen. But I know that if I don't tell the person that it could be a lot worse.
Right. And that's it. You could either keep it to yourself and torture yourself with it, or tell somebody something that they don't want to hear, but prevent that bad thing from happening.
Mm,
You know, I think that, you know, you're obviously doing what you do, so you'd rather put yourself in the uncomfortable situation and be the bad guy for a few minutes, and then they realize, he was just looking out for me, I'm sure.
yeah,
Or you probably scare them and they don't ever want to talk to you again. Yeah, I'm sure it goes both ways.
right, right.
But then you've already played your role in their life. That was where you were meant to be and cross their path to do. So you're on the right path.
It's happened with my wife too. It's happened a couple times with her. Um, and it was a very serious situation with her too. And so she has not only seen it happen with me, but she's experienced it too. I'm also a dialysis patient. I have end stage renal failure with one kidney.
Mhm.
I'm a cancer survivor. I beat stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma, but the chemo and the radiation destroyed my only kidney.
Uh-huh.
So I've had them inside the dialysis center, and the next day after I had one, the guy that was sitting next to me, he actually died, and they found blood in his lungs. And the vision that I got was like two tubes in front of me, and I saw liquid going up and down in the tubes like this, and it cracked. And I thought it had something to do with the nurse. So I told the nurse, and I'm like, please be careful. Please be careful. Whatever you do, just please, because I can't ever tell who it is.
Right.
Well, the guy that was sitting next to me, he was mute. He couldn't talk. He couldn't hardly, he couldn't hear, couldn't nothing. I mean, he was completely mute. He went home that night, went to sleep, and he died in his sleep, and blood had filled his lungs up. And when they found it, the blood was going up and down like this in his lungs.
Mm,
And then with it breaking, that was him passing away.
right. Right.
So I mean, it's happened so many times, and I never know when it's going to happen. But I really want to thank you for the explanations that you gave me. It's really broadened my perspective of it, and maybe it's not something that I should be fearful of or scared of, or maybe I should embrace this because, like you said, like how are you going to work in the light when you've never experienced darkness?
Hmm. You just,
Even in ministry, how can you tell somebody not to do something when you've never walked a day in their shoes?
hmm I get confused with that whole with the church shunning like that, the idea of paranormal things, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to get into that. I feel like it might be controversial. So I think I'm just gonna you know, keep that to myself and respect everyone's thing. I feel like there's not a person that should ever tell you how to walk in your faith. I feel like if you're doing the right thing by humans and animals and earth and all the things and helping your neighbor where you can, smiling at the stranger. Yeah, listen, I'm not one to tell these kind of stories, but the other day I was walking down the street. I was in a familiar but a town that I'm not from, but I visit often. It was at nighttime and it had just stopped raining, and I was walking with a friend. And while I was walking, I see an elderly gentleman, and he's standing in front of a statue, and he's just looking at the statue. And I don't know why, but I stopped him and I said, excuse me, I don't mean to bother you. I wanted to tell you something. And I told him that, you know, I just feel the need to tell you that you are loved, you are cared for, you are needed here, you're very special. And I don't normally do this, but I feel prompted. Are you okay if I give you a hug? And he's like, yes, please. I gave him a hug and I go to walk, and you know, I say it was nice to meet you, and I go to walk away, leave him with that. And he stopped me and he's like, excuse me. He's like, you don't know how badly I needed that. He said, my aunt just passed away. I guess he was very, very close. And he had just come from her funeral. And I guess he was standing there and thinking about life in general, you know. And me, him, and my friend Bianca, we walked across the street together and we said our goodbyes. We talked a little bit, but it was nice, you know. Sometimes just be nice to someone. Not everyone is going to be nice back. Not everyone is going to accept that, but you don't have to react in a negative way. Just whatever. And I'm not saying to like save everyone. Just be kind where you feel the pull to. Don't ignore that pull to help someone.
That's so good. And I think the world needs to hear that, you know, and I think we need more of that in this world. We need less judgment. Um, we need to love people more. We need to listen and accept people, you know, because everybody's different. And if you try to take everybody and put them in their own individual little boxes, then you may never understand who they are, what they're about. And I think that's amazing that you did that. That's absolutely amazing. And you know, thank you for doing that. You probably made his whole day, and that's something that he'll never forget.
Right. And I'm not sharing that because I want to have any type of, you know,
Yes, man.
whatever, but just because I feel like it's just so not
Relevant.
something. Yeah, I feel like people just need to be more aware of those around them that might be struggling um in any way, you know.
That's
Anyway, that's
and thank you for sharing like that. That's see, and that's I love hearing stuff like that. I do. I love hearing stuff like that. You know, it kind of reminds me of that old story about the pastor who was going to a big church or whatever, and he dressed up like a homeless person, and he came and he really looked homeless, and he laid on the outside of the church, and like people were like moving away from him, and like not even speaking to him, not even like this. And so they called in and they were like, well, we want you guys to meet, you know, your new pastor. And all of a sudden this homeless guy walks in, and you could just hear all the breaths, and he took off all his stuff, and he had a suit underneath it and things like that. And he was like, you know, I sat out there and watched every single one of you come in here, and not one of you welcomed me. Not one of you said hello. Not one of you asked if I needed any help. It was almost like you were fearful of me, like I'm something below you.
right.
What a lesson you can teach by doing that. And when I heard that, I was like, man, that's such a powerful, impactful story. And like yours, for instance, you know, that guy needed you. believe it or not. He needed you right then, and you were placed right there for that exact moment. I don't believe in coincidences. You were placed there, even if it was for nothing else. It was for that gentleman right there to feel accepted, to feel the love that you had, to feel the acceptance that you had towards him. And that's what makes a good person.
Aw. Uh, you're gonna make my like black heart be all
Oh,
mushy.
He's so
oh,
sweet, isn't he?
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
You guys,
Uh,
let me, if you don't
Gross.
mind for just a minute, let me acknowledge that we have
okay.
viewers. Now we have a lot more than comment. I wish you all would at least say hello, but we got Janet and of course Christy, who's love you, Christy. You're always here. Mike G, who is a mess.
You made me
And
laugh.
yeah, then we have Janet and Sean and oh my goodness, I'm trying to flip Candy and Keith and Morgan and Jeremy and me.
Hey guys,
All the
thank
love.
you all,
Thank
thank you
you.
all for coming on.
Mhm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So let's get off the mushy ushy right here. What makes Shannon Shannon, and why do you call what the Queen of Darkness? What is that? What does that entail? What does that mean to you?
Well, give me all of your dark things and I will show you how brightly you shine. Plus, while I do that, I might take your soul and stuff it in a little jar for safekeeping, just to borrow it for a little while. Growing up, I always loved horror. I really liked Elvira and Morticia and Vampira and all that stuff. And so I always wanted to be like a horror hostess. I started doing some gothic modeling and dark poetry, and it just started the Queen of Darkness, the Queen of Darkness. Um, because I have been through a lot of things, dark things, back to back to back to back to back. This year especially, like wow, humbled me a little bit, a lot. Um, so yeah, I guess that's where that comes from because I just keep getting up. I will not bend the knee. Um, I will not bow down to it. It can bow down to me. So that's where that comes
So
from.
how
I
about
think it's
what?
just like standing in my own power, more
Oh,
or less.
okay.
It's kind of like my my mask for when I need to be strong,
Mhm.
and that's it. Let's be real. It's
That's it. That's good. Um, how about the wings that you had? What made you?
I'm
What made you
freaking
do
good.
that?
I had this vision. I'm still waiting on some things to come back because I did like a photo shoot to really
Mhm.
try and showcase this vision. But um want to go back a long time. I want to go back probably like 10 years ago. I was very much a love and light kind of a person. Um, and I went through an experience with a crazy attachment and it changed my entire life. And then again, I said this year had like everything, like literally from all ends. My love life, my professional career, my everything just came crumbling down. Literally back to back to back to back. I couldn't even like lift my head up to take a breath, and I still had to go and be this image of this thing, and I felt really, really broken, and I kind of shut down for a little while,
Mm,
and then it's my version of like almost like the phoenix, like not a phoenix, but I'm just like getting my way. I'm like coming into my own.
rising.
I am free. I'm free from that. And that's what that is. Those wings opening up like that. I am free. I am no longer chained down. I will no longer let anybody else control how I feel about me. If you don't like me, I think that's something that is your problem and not something that I should have to change myself over or worry about for you. So I think that's what that is. It's representing my freedom. my ability to just soar at this point.
That's
I'm such a
that
nerd.
that's
That's the
amazing.
poet in me.
That is
It is.
that's amazing. That's amazing because the fact that you could take all the negative things and have it balled up and leave it under you and rise above that and become a way better person, become who you are entitled and meant to be. I think that's so important in finding yourself, finding your true self.
I
And
couldn't. I
and I,
honestly
I definitely think that's very important. And I'm very happy for you. That's amazing.
I appreciate that so much, and I honestly would not be here right now if it wasn't for my friend, Bianca, medium Bianca Rose.
Bianca
Literally,
Rose, yeah.
oh
Yeah,
my
you need to
gosh,
have her on. I tried to get her one time and she was busy and she
she's
apologized.
busy
She's
girl,
hmm
but she's phenomenal. She's amazing. That's who I was with the weekend with the man, Bianca.
Yeah, I saw that.
So she just, yeah, a good friend. So I'm grateful to her, and that's what the wings are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, is that Bianca? Does she also have wings too? Is that her with you on some of those?
Oh no, in the pictures. Aw, no. That's one of my friend's daughters. She was there at the convention and we took the pictures together.
I'm trying to
And
get them to load up because
yeah.
it's very cool. It's part of the intro, the purple part, but I'm trying to get the other part. It's not so
Oh, I
easy.
love that. I love that video that you sent where you're rising up like that. That video
My
is amazing.
photographer,
Do you
Hmm.
Florida,
guys
made
mind?
that.
Well, I'm trying to
That's
find
funny.
it. So yeah, if I do,
It made me laugh.
I'll tell you.
I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And he said that to me. I was like, that's pretty cool. Thanks.
That is
I
Um,
that
love
is. When you go to these paracons and things like that, do you how many do you go to a year?
I used to go to a lot. And then I think I just got boring to people. Nobody asked me anymore.
No, you are not.
Um,
And I got to say this, Shane, in person, she has this great personality and and she
thank you.
announced us and everything. And it was very cool. It was very
You're
cool.
cool.
Well, she's got a bright aura. She's got a bright aura around her.
Mhm.
I can see auras really well, and I
Yeah.
can sense the energy. You've got a very bright aura around you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I used to do a lot. This year was a little bit less because again, like I didn't really reach out to anyone to try and put myself out there too much. So I kind of did the ones that I think, well, Rock Island, I think I did reach out to. I was like, I want to go to those certain ones, but um different ones. I've done a few more like local like comic conventions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I need a
So
little bit of a break.
we've talked about a lot of things, with the Paracon and about you and things like that. What is your favorite location that you've been to?
Mm.
Do you
Well,
mind
that
if I
is a
show
very
this
good
real quick
question.
to the audience?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Please
I
do.
put it on the intro. I cut it from the rest. I can't get the whole thing with your, the whole thing you sent me.
That's okay.
So I
It was a
cut it.
lot.
Yeah, it was a lot, but I cut it, and I thought this was like the most. It was the others were great, but this was kind of unique. If everybody watch her,
Yeah, that's
Oh,
my
that's a
favorite.
I like
I like
that.
that. I thought
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
that was.
Um,
I'll send you where I cut it if you like. It's
it's
cool.
cool.
It
Yeah.
is.
Favorite locations. I just left a pretty cool location, but I'm not allowed to say what it was yet. Um, my favorite location is the location where I formed my attachment from. That I got my attachment from is the Thomas Halsey homestead out in
Mhm.
Southampton. Um, just because that's like it feels literally like my home. Like I feel like homeless right now because I'm not there, I haven't been there in years. Well, I go outside of it, but it shut down for a little while to for restoration.
They did.
And
Do you have a connection to the place?
so I used to have a connection. I still, what do you mean? Like a physical connection, like a person I talk to, or like a connection like spiritually?
Well, like a spiritual connection to the
Yes, I
place.
do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
And then I'm afraid to say this one. Okay, I'm afraid to say this one because it's like so like. So there was a
Just
little
say it.
place in
It's
Rhode
okay.
Island that I used to, a little place in Rhode Island that I had the pleasure of getting to live at for a little while. Is a favorite for me. I did a lot of soul searching there because I got to be there by myself. It
Hmm.
was pretty cool. And I'm not going to say where because it's just Drama City, and I don't want to be involved in that Drama City. No
Oh
drama for me.
gosh.
Thank you.
I understand that.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's now. Since you said that,
Yeah.
since you said that, I have seen a lot of drama with people, but some of the most ridiculous drama that I've seen come from people have come from the paranormal field.
Oh, yes. I mean, what I don't know what you mean. Yes, I know it is. Yes,
Paradrama.
we're all very dramatic.
It
I
is.
don't know.
It is. It is.
But do
And
you think that maybe it's because so many of those people are dabbling in all the things and the dark things and the light things, and you are opening yourself up to different scenarios, and maybe everybody's a little bit touched by something a little bit, and where it might
Right?
cause you to be a little bit more where you normally wouldn't be that kind of way. Because I've seen some things from some people that were very unexpected. Um, and I was like, whoa. And then they like pulled back and they back to normal. So it's just like, was that just like a momentary like, whoa, where
mm,
where did you go so I could avoid that place? You know what I mean?
mm.
Just kidding. Um,
Yeah, they think that like this whole term of like paranormal celebrity and stuff like that, like putting yourself above people, to me, you can ask my wife too. Like, I look at everybody else as above me, and I always want that to be like that because I always want to look at other people as greater than myself, and I always want to treat everybody with utmost respect, no matter what it is, whether it's paranormal, whether it's in ministry, whether it's in anything like this.
mhm.
And 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 I wish other people would do that too, especially in the paranormal field. When people are sharing their evidence and things like that, and then they get called out, they get names called. They said, "Oh, you're a fake. You're this. You're that," and it makes nobody wants to share anything anymore. And my
Right.
thing is, perception is reality. And if people were to live by that in the paranormal field, perception is reality. I think I think they'd be able to get along with people a lot better.
I think so too. And I think, but
That's true.
also, I think that, hear me out, not that it's deserved. But I think that if it's going onto a public platform, you're going to have somebody who's going to share their opinion. Some people, the way they put their opinion is very nasty. I agree. But if you're looking for maybe some people should, if they're afraid of that happening. Okay, let me switch this around. If they're afraid of sharing that stuff, bless you, darling. Put
Bless you.
away. No, I can't say that with you here. I'm sorry. I was gonna say he heard you. Oh, I did say it. Um, if you're afraid to share that stuff because you're afraid you're going to be attacked for it or made fun of for it or whatever, if you have some colleagues in the field that you can trust, that you feel comfortable with, maybe you could share it to them privately and get some opinions that way. That way, you're still able to share that out there, And maybe that might help you get the courage to put it publicly again as well. You know, for me to come out and say, like, I had a ghost living inside of my body that was in love with a man from the 1600s, and that she would tell me things, and then I write this down, and then I made it poems. It's like, I sound like a nut job. Do I care? No, because I know what happened. I know it's my thing. I know how crazy that sounds, but if this is your evidence, if that's your stuff, it honestly, it does not matter what that
Yeah,
person thinks. Although it does matter when people will attack and attack and attack and attack and
yes,
attack, and that is not okay. That's when
yes,
it does matter, and when it becomes affecting like your mental health and stuff like that. That is
yes.
where I don't appreciate that stuff. And if I
Like
really did have
doxing
like a tower, like the tower in England, they would all live in there
and
with the rats.
doxing, putting
That's scary
personal.
stuff. That's not
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I
It's
know, and
not
it's
okay.
not like putting personal
It's a
information.
modern day lynch mob with the mob with the fires with the
Lynch
pitchforks
mob.
and fires. Is that what that's called? Those
That's
people should.
that's exactly it. And people need to stop doing that. Like I've literally seen people put people's whole address like online. It happened to my wife and I. Not
Yeah.
only did it happen to us, but our name, my wife's deceased parents were brought up and put
Oh,
out
that's
for
not okay.
everybody to see. And it's so we do know about that.
That's not okay.
But we're coming up on an hour here. Shannon, why don't you tell everybody how to get a hold of you?
So if you're on Instagram, you can find me at a dream underscore within a scream. You can find me on Facebook, Shannon Michele 1L Collins, the Queen of Darkness in parentheses, because there's a few. And my website is adreamwithinascream.com. I think you can message me on there if you need to. Sometimes I don't check it every day, so I apologize if it does take me a little bit of time to get back to you, but I am in the middle of filming a bunch of different, I have a lot going on. So
I
it is
really, I
exciting stuff.
really, I really appreciate you coming on and being my guest. You've been an amazing guest, and I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours. And I wish this hour didn't go by as fast as it did.
It did go
But
fast.
I really appreciate you coming on and being my guest, Shannon.
I'm
Can I
really
read one
truly
comment
honored.
to you
Thank you so
guys?
much.
If you
Yeah,
don't
please
mind.
do.
Okay, Jeremy Bruton. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry, Jerry. He said, I learned, and this is true, okay? He said, I learned in the paranormal community that A, you need a thick skin. Very true. B, you do what you want, and F, what people think. And I agree. Because that is the way I think. Because you know what? I'm gonna be me. And Shannon's gonna be Shannon.
Me
Yeah.
too.
And Shane's
Me
gonna be
too.
Shane. So, appreciate it. And in our network, I'll tell you, Shannon, I've said this before. We're a little family. And that's how we
Yeah.
don't squabble and no. We
Yeah.
support each other. I mean, we have people on here that are in the network. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep. And we really appreciate you being on, and thank you for being such an awesome guest.
Thank you for having me.
I would definitely love to have Natalie or Bianca. I would love to have them on. I'd love to interview or speak with them, just the same way that I spoke with you. So I would definitely love that. But I want to
let them
thank
know.
you so much for coming on. You have been amazing, and I wish every guest were like you.
Oh, thanks.
Hey Shannon, if you'll hold on a minute, I'm gonna drop you in the back and we'll end it and we'll be back there in just a second.
Thank you very much,
Sounds
and
good. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
well,
She's great. She's great.
that's
I
the
love
Queen of
her.
Darkness. That's the
Yeah.
Queen of Darkness. She's amazing. And I mean, if you guys haven't had the chance to talk to her, do reach out to her, because she's like an open book. And I mean, she's not trying to hide anything. She's very much who she is. And she's just a good person. I mean, just to hear that story that she told before, that it's just amazing to hear that there are still really good people out there, no matter what your title, no matter what your name is. It doesn't make you a bad or good person. She is just a genuine good person.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for commenting. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for being here. And you guys have a phenomenal week. Stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.